To accept, press 1. Call from
Dante.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
You think you know about relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills.
You sick? You need medicine. It don't always taste good. Nah. But it'll get you better. You need this medicine. Yeah. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space alien. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong.
Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I could be like you. But you could be me, you know why?
Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man, score 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't. Yo, what up? GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? The Sexual Revolution is being podcasted, and I am excited. It's good to be here. Good to be seen. Good to be heard. Anybody in the comments, please, give me a thumbs up if you hear me. Please give me a thumbs up if you hear me. Let's see. I teach a hedgehog. Big shouts. Let me see who's in the fishbone. What up? LOL. What up? Xavier. Cole was popping. Test PM. Woeful average 8. Thumbs up. Y'all can hear me good. Give me a thumbs up in the comment. Let's get those likes up, please. Let me get the likes up. Likes up. Important. Oh man, what's going on?
You think you know about
what's going on, family? How's my people? Good to be here. Excited. A lot of stuff we got to get into today. Real quick, telephone numbers up. You all know what it is. 929-269-4922. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell, please. This is your first time. Please subscribe. That helps me to keep this thing going. And get the lights up. Jesse, what's up? The stem cells are doing better. I've seen improvement, but I still got a lot of I got to go to physical therapy to really see the extent of how I've healed up, but I do feel better. So thanks for asking, Jess. I appreciate you. Cole. It's funny. I ain't even gonna repeat that. But thank you. Thanks to everybody in the comments. Don't forget, shit, I didn't put the goddamn Cash App up. And there it is. All right, cool. Oh, how come it keeps going? That's weird. Let's see how we can do this. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm just waiting for the people to come in so we can get it popping. There we go. There goes the Cash App. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you. What did I want to talk about? There was a couple of things I want to get into. One of the things that I want to talk about is, you know, we talk about basic fundamentals, but I think I want to talk about fear a little bit. And why is fear an important topic? Is because I've said this, it refers to something that I say all the time, which is never let emotion have a seat at the table. What do I mean when I say that? Emotion is fear is an emotion. And if you allow yourself to succumb to fear because of because of the way we're made up as human beings, as mammals, we have that fight or flight kind of thing where we are in a situation where, you know, when we're afraid, we respond, the adrenaline pumps. It's a survival mechanism that evolutionary is part of being a human being. So I think when we talk about this, you got to understand that a lot of times I'll do consultations, I'll talk to dudes, and they'll be like, you know, their emotion or their fear to try something new, or try to even to follow some of the advice that I've told guys. They're afraid, and they're afraid of what the outcome is. Understand something. Bravery doesn't exist without the presence of fear. In order to be a brave, you got to already be afraid of something. And bravery is acting in the context of moving forward, taking a step forward, doing the things that you want to do in the presence of fear. So if you have no fear, right, there's no bravery, right? And it doesn't matter what the situation. If you're a lion tamer and you're not afraid of lions, right, you're not being brave in the context of that, because it's not something that you have fear of. Fear is bravery is overcoming fear. So understand that. So what I wanted to talk about too was you know, fear and emotion, because it's something that I say often. I'm not going to say it now because there's not enough people I don't want to have to repeat it. But so the minute you have fear, you can, however proficient, let's say you are a proficient conversationalist, and at your best, you can know what to say, how to take a conversation, how to make it interesting. Let's say at your best, you're 93% of, if we're going to measure it. The minute you add fear into that, even the fundamental things that you already know, that you're already comfortable doing, all of a sudden those things become harder to execute. And so you can count on your proficiency going down to maybe 30%, 33, 35%, something like that. And what we have to understand is one of the reasons why you lay the 5 bricks, one of the reasons why you petition, why you lay the 5 bricks and do repetition, is so that the fear doesn't come into your head to stop you from functioning at your highest rate of performance. And that goes for anything. That goes for, you know, situations with life decisions, family decisions, relationships. All of that stuff is super important. Yo, what up, Wayne? Roo. What up, doggy? My frat brothers in the building. What's going on, Colin? Who else is in it? Test PM in the building. GC, that's the way to come in, GC54. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Let me read this out. I've been a long time man school listener and called in 2 times. I've used your advice on things. It has changed my relationships with friends, family, and dating. Thank you. You are very welcome. And thanks for the $5. I appreciate it. Oh, let me do this real quick before I forget. There were on the last live, 2 people sent me from the Cash App, and I didn't shout them out. And I apologize. I apologize. Understand that. Let me find that real quick. But what I wanted to say was, I'll find it and then I'll dig into it or whatever. But what I find more than anything, that there is a situation where you have to understand that you have to operate with fear in mind, with emotion in mind, and you got to be able to remove those things so that your logic and your reasoning can prevail over your ability to deal with this emotion. And understand something: there's nothing wrong with being afraid. There's nothing wrong with having emotions or being soft on something. My only problem with any of that is the fact that you have to, you can't operate based on the fear. That is the most important thing, that you don't allow the fear to put you in a position where you can't function or you can't make the best decisions for yourself. And then you end up in a bind because you felt a certain kind of way. And don't get me wrong, it's going to happen. Regardless of how good you are, it happens to me, it happens to everybody, but you also have to be able to forgive yourself for being imperfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to do it all right. Nobody's going to make all the right decisions. But what we want to do, the objective is to get you in a position where your default is logic. That something has to go excessively wrong for you to get out of your bag, and the more that you practice that, the more that you're going to be able to execute. Let me just shout out, said Xavier, what's going on? Robert Spindletree, what up? JR, logic, you're speaking sense, but thinking logically requires practice. Everything requires practice. That's from, let me put that up, Test PM says, this is an interesting acknowledgement of this. It says, for everyone with logic, you're speaking sense, but thinking logically requires practice. And my caveat to that is that everything takes practice. There's nothing that you're going to be great at unless you practice, unless there's repetition, unless you review and you make your decisions and you make whatever it is you do better. You have to practice. And the reason why, and in the process of you practicing, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to understand again, I want to say it again so you hear it. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. That's the process of learning. And if you don't take risks and you don't make mistakes, you're not going to learn anything. It is absurd for you to expect that you would be able to do everything perfectly right away. And yet, and still, some of us have that expectation. It's just an unrealistic expectation. And when we talk about it is, it's scary to be truthful. It's not easy to be honest. It seems like it would be, and I'll just tell the truth, but it's not. There's so many things that are involved, and what are those things that are involved? Emotion. Sometimes you want to be honest, but you're afraid that you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. Hold on, we got a call. Let's get this. Hey yo, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm Jason Daniels, man. I'm calling from Astoria.
What's going on, Jason? How can I help you, brother?
let me pause this real quick, man. I'm really sorry about that, but I just want to say thank you and Patrice.
Thank you, man.
I'm 21 years old. I've been watching y'all all through college.
Right.
And it's like y'all really helped change my disposition on how I thought about a lot of things. Y'all really helped me get out of the red pill shit. And I really want to thank y'all for that, man.
Man, I'm happy. Were you deep in that red pill stuff?
It gets everyone my age, man.
Huh?
It gets you eventually.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to understand, anything that you watch excessively, you know, it's going to be, it becomes part of your psyche, you know. But were you one of those dudes that was watching Fresh and Fit?
Oh, absolutely. I was obsessed. It started with Kevin Samuels, and then it's like once that he was balanced. I think you and Patrice as well. I mean, actually, thankfully for you guys actually put more onus on men.
Right.
But once he left and the grifters saw the space.
Yeah.
It's like it just got filled with nonsense. And at some point, I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I listening to? And it was getting back to the source.
Yeah.
And like going through Black Phillip again.
Yeah, yeah.
As well as going through now you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, damn, how could I be so far gone? Like, I started watching this when I was 18.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. First of all, you know, what happens is gradual, but you see how Fresh and Fit and all these guys have gotten demonetized, and
absolutely,
and they went right wing, white supremacist. I mean, I don't know how a Saudi dude it becomes a white supremacist, but you know, he is getting the business from these people who don't want him as a part of it. My only thing that I'd like to push back on a little bit is like I absolutely think that Black Phillip was one of, like, it was a you know, a shift, you know.
Of course.
But
y'all were pointing out a problem. You guys, it was you guys pointed the iceberg out.
Yeah.
On the Titanic, and no one listened.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now we're here.
Well, but I want to put something that I do want to push back. I want you to understand is I don't know if you know when we did that, right? How old are you now?
I'm 21. I literally graduated college.
Okay,
and
so
I'm like, I wanted to move the conversation. I was there, but please continue.
So what I want to say is that I did that in 2006, right?
Yeah.
How old were you in 2006, approximately?
I was 4.
Okay, so you're 4 years old. So understand something, that I've been doing this, I mean, even before 2006, but I mean, Black Phillip was the first representation of us actually speaking to the people, and we actually started out on satellite radio. Right. Yeah. But understand something, the message has evolved so much from that. One of the things that I always say is a problem with when I hear guys talking about Black Phillip, sometimes it's hard to discern the stuff that we moved beyond, right?
Yeah.
So if you can't watch Black Phillip without a critical eye to see what the difference is of where I'm at now and where we were then
you and Patrice would still grow. I wish he was here to this day, man.
Right. But what I'm saying is a lot of that stuff is I just would not subscribe to now.
No, of course.
And
but I of course there's so many things in that. But a big main stepping point is, and I'll give you this one. For me, having listened to y'all, is it's never anyone else's fault but yours.
Sure.
That was the first main thing, and it's now looking to be more genuine.
Yeah.
And as you say, honest with myself. It's the hardest thing ever. Like, I graduated in May. I graduated college in May. I studied economics, whatever it is. But I was thinking of going into a profession, per se, in banking. I'm in New York, and it's over the summer. I had an internship that was just go out and network, bring in clients, basically. Dante, I got to meet every single person that I thought I wanted to be.
Right.
And that really shook me, man. Like the life was just out of it. He's a millionaire.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that, what also came with this internship was it was for a small financial advising firm.
Right.
You see people with that are making millions
Yeah.
per year.
Yeah.
How are you behind the 8 ball? How are you in debt making millions a year? But it really shook the practicality of what I always believed I wanted, and now it put me at a place where I'm so lost on like what the next step is, right? Like when and I'm also like, it doesn't help with this. I have this thing where I like to analyze everything to death before I make the first step
Yeah.
on things. Like you were just speaking about a second ago.
Yeah.
You're not going to be good at anything when
Right.
you first start. That's something my whole life I've just refused to accept. Like I would much rather learn everything there is to learn about something, so that once I step in there, I wouldn't be good, but I wouldn't be bad for very long.
Well, let me say this. I don't think that you should throw caution to the wind. I just don't think that's not reasonable. But I think you also have to get past. You got to get past this idea that you don't want to make mistakes. Like you got to make it's part of this is making mistakes. I think you can minimize the mistakes that you make by building your skill set up. But the reality is nothing. I mean, you know, very rarely do people hit a hole in one. You know what I mean?
I've just it's I just watched the video about hours ago. You were with someone, parents that are from outside of the country. My parents are Ghanaian. Right. So it's that African parent thing, and I'm the only child too.
Yeah.
So it's a different dynamic of I'm not the oldest child, where it's like they want you to be the model for others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are the ticket.
Yeah.
And it puts weird pressure of whatever the hell you do.
Yeah.
Make sure
and understand this.
If you're not gonna be good, don't do it at all.
Well,
and
but the understanding of that is you got to understand where they're coming from. And so, as much as I advocate that you respect your parents, but there's a caveat to that respect. Respect your parents if they're respectable. You know, if you got parents, I mean, like we've seen parents that have abused their kids on a level that we couldn't even comprehend. So you can't put this blanket statement on and say, well, we got to respect all parents should be, because that's just not true. But I do see what you're saying. I just want to say,
most of that too is like, Dante, it's to a point. They also have given me that freedom where it's like, it's mostly self-imposed. You know what I mean? It started young and they kind of let off with that, but it's like the damage is done. Where it's like now it's self-imposed. If I'm not going to win, I don't play.
Yeah, and that's not good.
It's such a crippling mindset, and it's like now.
Not only that, but you don't enjoy anything.
No, at all. I'm in my room right now. They literally just left for Ghana for 2 weeks. I have not left the house once. I've just been to the gym and back. I'm just like, and I thought, and the kicker is, I always thought it was them.
Yeah.
And now that they're out of the way, it's like, it's just the man in the mirror. It's like, you got the house to yourself. You said you want to throw a party. You said you were going to do this. Like, a bunch of the things you said you were going to do. But it's like something within myself, man, that's just not right.
Well, let me ask you. Here's a question. What does your mother and father do?
Oh, my dad is a super. He runs a building in Queens.
Okay.
My mom is like a nurse aide.
Okay, so here's my sense. And this is no disrespect to your parents, but they didn't do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they didn't make sacrifices. You know, they made sacrifices for the family, but I'm saying you trying to tell me how to do something when you didn't do it. I'm not saying that you can't you can get something, you can get wisdom from anybody. But I'm just saying, if you had all this wisdom, then why didn't you do it for yourself? And so people parents can become obstacles to our success because of the fact that, first of all, they perceive you, there's almost an ownership that they perceive you, but there's also an ownership and they feel that your life is a reflection on them, and it can be. But at some point in time, we have to take the responsibility for our lives and move that forward. And the question is, what's the right way to do that? I mean, you didn't come here like your parents. I'm assuming you're an immigrant, yes?
Yeah. So my dad came, and then I came when I was 10, exactly on my birthday.
Right.
and then my mom came later as well. So,
Here's another question, and I want you to think about it before you answer. Do you think that they're happy?
with where I am right now,
No. Are they happy in their own life?
yeah, they're so set. It's like it's a weird thing with me now.
No. Listen to what I'm asking you. Are they happy with their life?
I would say so.
Okay.
I would say so.
Okay.
Like they're happy within their marriage, happy within their lives. They basically just went on vacation right now.
Oh, so
They're-
you understand I'm asking that because that's a rare situation.
Oh yeah.
You know?
No, they've been together since they were like what, damn near 15, too.
Yeah, I mean
They're-
that doesn't necessarily mean they're happy either.
Of course.
I mean,
I can tell.
that's something. If you've been
definitely
together
tell
with somebody since you're 15, you gotta work at that. And let's be honest, if you're 15, you have no idea how to work at that. So
it's crazy. I look at my pops all the time. I'm like, how does he do it? But he does, and he loves her to death, and she loves him to death.
That's a great thing. I mean, I'm going to tell you that's rare because you don't even have the faculty to do that at 15.
Nope.
But
I'm like, I can't even do it at 21.
No, I mean, I know people that can't do it at 80, so that's not a problem. What I would say is though, you have to get over this making mistakes. There's nothing wrong with being prepared, but you can't play.
Like,
you can have the Jordans, you can have the shorts, you can have the jersey, you can have the brand new basketball, but until you get on the court, you don't know how to play basketball. I don't care how many books you've read. There's you have to still get work. But brother, I appreciate you calling. We got a bunch of calls coming. Thank you so much for calling, man. Thanks for the support.
You guys, thank you so much, man. You and Patrice, man, you rest in peace, man. Thank you guys so much. Y'all pulled me out of a dark place, man.
All right, bro. When you get this finance money, then make sure you call up with a Cash App, all right?
Got it. I gotta get to one of your shows. I just got legal. I just turned 21 too, so I gotta come out and see you one day.
All right, that'll work. It'll be good to see you. All right?
You got it. Thank you so much, Dante.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, making mistakes, not being able to make the mistakes is a difficult thing to do. You know, if you're on that, that's hard. That's a hard nut to crack. Phone lines are open, 929-269-4922. And what happens is here's an interesting thing. It's funny, he was talking about Kevin Samuels. And I think that you can always get something from something, but if I had the one criticism that I have about Kevin Samuels was that everything was by the numbers. You know what I mean? So many percentage of black men, and there's the probability of this and how much money, which, don't get me wrong, I think that all of those things are valid questions to ask, but we all know that don't happen. We all know that life doesn't happen by the numbers. So you gotta be honest about the emotion that's present and how the emotion affects relationships. What's your name? Where you calling from, family?
Lavi from Seattle.
What's up, Lavi? How can I help you, bro?
So you're the GOAT, obviously, and your teachers have brought me like different levels of access to women, and because of that, I ran into like maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I was out one night and I got into it with this girl, or met this girl, and I'm not gonna lie. Since then, I've been probably the most sprung I've ever been in my life, but like not idealistically, but truly.
Okay.
And
what do you mean when you say that? What do you mean idealistically or truly? I mean, I'm not sure what you mean.
So a while ago, I thought I was sprung with this girl, but it wasn't really like. It was more the idea of her than her actually, because it wasn't real like true chemistry. Like I never really thought about her sexually or anything like that. It was just like what seemed like the thing that you were supposed to attain or whatever. And
now, let me ask you this: where did you get this idea about what you were supposed to attain? Like, where does that model come from?
I guess she had just ticked off boxes. Like, she had a good job. She was intelligent. She was pretty.
Right.
I think it was more of a complete, it was like similar to my ex, but a step up, like more attractive, not as crazy, stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, bossing up in that aspect. it didn't work out because it was just not that chemistry. But this one, it like
Now here's a question. What do you think chemistry is?
I've heard you say it's your preparation. So,
Right. But what do you
that-
think it is?
I think two personality types that mesh comfortably and don't leave like.
So would
Don't
you're
really
saying
leave
it would have
space
it
for
in
silence.
it would be in common. You would say it's personalities that you have in common. You have things in common.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah, I would say part of it. Yeah, not all of it. Part of it. Yeah, we definitely have certain things in common, but I also appreciate our differences.
You said you appreciate her differences?
Yeah, our different, like the differences that you and I, like she and I have.
Well, how old are you, La?
25.
Okay, so here's my thing. I think that there's what happens is people's philosophy, like the way they live their life, right? They put this philosophy together based on things that they've heard, things that they've observed, books that they've read, movies that they saw, and they put this kind of hodgepodge idea of what is right and what's wrong. And I think that understanding the ethical boundaries of that is one thing. But I think a lot of times we have not, especially at 26, I don't expect this of you, but to start to think about what makes you happy. Like what really makes you, and part of this process of you dating and hooking up and meeting people and going on dates and going places and going on trips is you it's not just you about this girl, it's about you exploring the things that you like, the things that are important to you, to kind of figure out where you want to go. Because once you start practicing ACE and you're authentic and you're credible and you're empathetic, and those things are the most important things, what you realize is, I said, is the greatest and the greatest and the scariest thing that I ever learned was this, that I could do whatever I wanted to do, right? Yeah. If I was willing to make the sacrifice, right? Now that's the greatest thing. Imagine that in your life, you recognize, wow, I could do whatever I want to do. The scariest part of that is that if I don't do it and I don't have the things that I want, it is my fault. And because it's my fault, I don't get to blame anybody else. I don't get to woe is me. I don't get to get people's pity because of the fact that I made the decisions that got me this, and I didn't have the testicular fortitude to make decisions to move in the directions that make me happy. So you have to kind of, especially at this age, you should be figuring about what you like. Exploring different things, exploring different types of women, going different places, because you want to expose yourself. I always say that life's kind of like this like you ever go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, right? The first time you go to the buffet, you get everything, right? You get this, that, the rice, the that, the this, the that, the that. The second time you go back, right? When you go back for seconds, you are much more selective about what you put on your plate, because half the stuff that you took, you threw it away anyway. You didn't like this, you thought you was going to like that. But later on, you get to a point where you the second time around, the third time, all you got on your plate is the shrimps, the crab legs, and the bare minimum of what you like. And the only way you're able to do that is through experience and through exposing yourself to different things. So I'm glad that you're having fun with this girl, and I'm glad that I could facilitate that. But I would also like to say is, don't just be in this frivolously. Think about what's going on. Start to define what you like, what kind of person you are, and the direction that you want to go in your life, and experiment while still experimenting on new things, if that makes sense. Okay?
No, it definitely does. That's why I just called to see your perspective on because 100%. That's this it feels like almost a culmination, because I've been listening I've been practicing this. My cousin and I practice this all the time together, and And it's been like a culmination, like, I mean, it's not a long time, under a year for sure.
Yeah.
But like I've went through and seen like personality types I don't like, the way that people like communicate, you know, like those things. And this is very idealistic, but now I'm like seeing some shit, and you know, because it's such a strong thing that, you know, you almost get emotional. So I try to detach from that emotion. I give myself time to think. Because like how you were saying at the beginning of this stream, like emotions will clog your higher thinking.
Yeah,
so
it makes you unable to make decisions.
Yeah, so I'm like, do I, you know, I guess, okay, so it's like goofy shit, kind of like lack of communication, maybe some flakiness, but then also like, I can't tell it's based off her situation, so I'm trying to apply empathy based on what I already know about the situation she's in. But then I'm also trying to keep it real, like, you know, not overextend empathy to the point where I'm being like,
right, where you're playing yourself. But trust me, even all these concerns that you're having are just concerns that are just not necessary. Because here's the thing: if you're over empathetic and you just bending too much, ultimately what's going to happen is somebody's going to take advantage, right? And definitely, when they take advantage, you're going to feel like they took advantage. And then there's always these guardrails that bring you back to the center, right? What you have to do is build the skill set where you have an understanding of what your self-esteem, you know what your worth is, you tell the truth, you have credibility. All of these things aid in your ability to feel confident about who and what you are, right? And so it's sort of like you get, you know, it's like I'll hear guys will be like, yo, that bitch cheated on me. It's like, dog, look, you're missing the point. Somebody who's disloyal, how do you find out they're disloyal? They have to do something that is disloyal. That's the thing that exposes who the true essence of who they are. And so they're doing you a favor so that you can eliminate them from your life. And this and so have fun. You know, you can, if you're empathetic, if you're overly empathetic, what happens is I'm learning that the stuff that we've been, you know, opposed to what I was talking about in Black Phillip and it is so crystallized, it's so foolproof that no matter what happens, it comes back to the same principles again and again and again. So if you're if you're being over empathetic, you'll get taken advantage of. And then you'll be like, hey, I don't like this. And then you'll make an adjustment, you know? If you're being if you're being honest, but you're being like mean or brutally honest, a shout out to one of the dudes that, you know, that I counsel, he's kind of an asshole, right? So he was brutal to the point where he was abusive. And I was like, dog, none of it is okay. Do you know what I mean? Like you need the balance. And so it's great that you're because you can't really enjoy what's happening, right? If you're not comfortable where you're at, because you feel like you're so in a situation where you're just lucky to have somebody, you know, you're just lucky to be chosen. And so when it goes bad or it goes left, you're afraid to end it, or you're afraid to speak your mind up because you don't really have an option to, you know?
Yeah, I feel that was definitely, I would say that wasn't necessarily the case with this, because it was more like forever after the situation, after seeing like how, because I will say like I was very much treated maybe in the way that I'd never been treated before, and I realized what I bring to the table. And regardless of what anybody else after this says or thinks, like, I know what I provide. I know who I am. I know, like, following Ace, keeping my credibility, being authentic and being empathetic. Like, it doesn't, like, everything else is just a reflection of their character. Like you said, like, the cheating with is just their disloyalty showing. Or like that, you know, that Tiffany chandelier. I love that analogy, the chandelier, $20,000, because it's like, just because they don't see value doesn't mean you don't have it. So that's what this kind of situation taught me.
Yeah, right. Because sometimes they're just not smart enough to know. But did you have a question, or you just want to make a statement?
I know. I was just keeping like, how do I go? Like, cause it's in a funky little spot. Like, just like, obviously, I don't want to get emotional. I was gonna ask like specifics about it, but you don't want to take too much time up. I mean, I feel like there's already good content in what we're talking about. So.
Well, I mean, look, you gotta. The whole point of life is to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Sure. Yeah, it is. We want to have, meaning and legacy and all that. But really, it's about enjoying your life. It's about pointing yourself in the direction and exploring life and experiencing things that you can be happy about. Because nobody gets out of this alive. Trust me. I know.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I'm looking at my end closer every day. So yeah, and so you better have done the things that you wanted to do. You better have had the enjoyment that you want to have. Have it. You meet people, you lose people, you outgrow people. It's just part of it. And I think when you're young, all of these things are so devastating. They seem so important. And when you're older, you realize, it was enough. It was just another experience. So, man, I just want to say I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate the love. Man, call back, please, and tell your friends, please, okay?
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to start a little movement out here.
All right, well, that's we all trying to do that. Make sure
your movement.
Like and subscribe and get the likes up too. All right, family? I appreciate you.
Sir. Yes, sir. And can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I want to say I think you have created one of the greatest, like, better than any religion. I think you created the greatest way of living, man, by far. Like that's your legacy. So if you've ever had, you did something that no one's ever done. I don't think.
I appreciate it, man. I just hope I live to see it grow into the fruition that where I would love to see it move. And I mean, that's y'all. This is y'all. This is your responsibility because I'm putting it out there. So you know what I'm saying. Just keep yelling my name. Somebody will hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling. Call back.
For sure.
Take
care.
Phone lines are open as of now. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, your perspective changes as you get older, but I think there's fundamental. But I really feel like I'm constantly testing my ideas so that they're more on point and they're more. I just want it to be more and more perfect. And the way I do that is I have to challenge myself. I have to challenge my ideas. And I gotta not be on, I gotta not be on the, getting high on my own supply. What's your name? Where you calling from, family?
Talk to me, Dante. This is James, North Carolina by way of New York. How you doing?
What's going on, James? How can I help you, bro?
Yeah. I'm just calling in, just following up on the fellow callers. And I'm noticing a certain trend. And I'm thinking that the certain trend that I'm noticing might deal with manhood training, right? So we calling into Man School 202. We all tuning into Man School 202.
Right.
And I think there's a specific aspect with regards to man school, or rather manhood, that needs to be dealt with. And I think it might be at the root of a lot of the lack of confidence or a lot of the lack of self-belief that might be going on. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that what needs to be had is a bit, don't get me wrong, the conversation about women is a must-have. That is a must-have because that's a separate beast in itself.
Yeah.
But I think at the core and primary needs to be had a conversation about what skills are these individual men bringing to the table? What are they able to do and reproduce that allows them to have the confidence they need to go out into the world and then conquer and meet other women?
Okay. Stop. Yeah. Okay. Let me push back on this. Yes, we do talk about the idea of women in the context of it, but it's an easy way for me to get the full message out. Let me make my point. My point is that it all applies to relationships and women and all those things, but it applies to everything else too. I don't know how long you've been listening, but I've had guys call in about their job, like how they move forward with their job. I've had guys call in how they move with their parents, how they move in their marriage, how they move with their kids and stuff. And so and that's kind of what I was saying is that I really am starting to get, very comfortable with the principles that are in place and how crystallized this philosophy is so that it applies to everything. And just because I don't talk about it in the context of everything, right? I don't talk about it in generalizations, but I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, but I said that true wisdom is the understanding of underlying concepts, how it relates to situations that seem irrelevant, but really are not. What that means is that if you understand a basic fundamental concept, right, you can take that concept and move it to other genres or different fields of thinking. And so
Dante, I couldn't agree more. No. Here's the thing. I couldn't agree more. And with regard to you having the information necessary, I'm not questioning that. I agree. I think you have the exactly correct amount of information.
So my question is, what do you think? You're saying that we need to.
No. Pardon me. Why I'm saying that is a lot of the men calling in don't realize that they can ask about these other things.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you something. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you why. You can't, if you are a untrustworthy individual, right? Let's say you steal from your job, right? That is what I call the snail trail. You know what I mean? When you see a snail walk across, there's always a snail trail. Like the untrustworthiness manifests itself in a lot of ways. It will manifest itself in relationships, in your job, in the way people trust you because you're putting this out. You have no way. There's no way you can hide this. So untrustworthy people are untrustworthy, not just in their relationships, in other situations. I'll give you an example. I had a consultation with a guy, and I asked him, what do you think about Donald Trump? Right? Now, I know people are going crazy about Kamala, this, that, the other, but there's a whole lot of emotional things that's under that. And he says, well, I don't have a feeling about it either way. Let's say I just don't hate him. He said, I don't hate him the way that other people do. And I said to him, let me ask you this. I said, you've been training with me for a year or so, a couple of, throughout several times. You're telling me that what I'm saying is that the principles that I put out it's changed your life, right? The first principle is what? Is authenticity. Tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
Does Donald Trump tell the truth?
No way in hell. Anybody paying attention.
Okay, so that's the first one gone. Second one, credibility is doing what you're supposed to do, saying what you're supposed to say, do what you say, you keep your word, right? Does Donald Trump keep his word?
No way in hell.
All right. Is he empathetic?
That's also negative. Nah. Okay,
so whatever you think about me, or you want to say that I'm Trump derangement syndrome or whatever, everybody's on this live, right? Knows that I talk about authenticity, credibility, and empathy. And I would be hard pressed for somebody to disagree with the three things that I just said and how you agree.
Now, I see what you're driving at.
Now, here's the other part of it. Yeah. So then the question is always, well, all politicians lie. Agreed, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about
throwaway.
We're not. That's a deflection. What I'm saying is this a person that if you are holding yourself to a certain standard, respect for yourself, respect for other people, truth, credibility, and empathy, and this is a man who doesn't have those principles. There's no, and you can't. It's like it's not compartmentalized. Like you can't.
Can that behavior fit the bill of ACE? And if we're being honest, the honest truth is no. for that individual specifically.
Right,
But the
right.
idea
And
is-
that's just a simple, it's a simple logical syllogism about why this doesn't work. Now, if you have to contort yourself in ways to make that work, that's what that's
fine.
cognitive dissonance. What you're trying to fit, you're trying for some other emotional reason, you're trying to make this so. Now, whatever Kamala is first, whatever we think about Kamala, I mean, we could do the same thing, but it's not necessary. What I'm saying is simply, can you, and somebody said, well, the guy was like, well, he's just a politician. But I'm saying, can you imagine if we had politicians that were honest? Politicians.
Not even honest. Let's call it. If we have politicians that were graded, meaning, okay, we have the grade of ACE. Do they fit? Do they pass if we put them through the?
They don't, and some of them won't. Some of them won't. Some will in some positions.
Some of them will.
But the point is, my point is, what if that was the standard? And that's what this. When we talk about this movement, whatever, that has to be the standard. This is what you expect of yourself. This is what you should expect from other people. And those people that don't fit into that, you always got to keep them at a distance, because their decisions will be reckless and will eventually hurt you in some way.
So now, before I go, I just want to clarify. I do indeed agree with your perspective and how you're presenting the ACE principles.
Right.
I just want to give an additive, which is a lot of folks that call in, they call in two things. One, they fail to consider truly how ACE applies to their situation, meaning before they call in, they don't really consider, hey, how is ACE applying here? And before I call in, let me make sure I thought about it so I can actually have a
but sometimes they don't. I'm gonna push back, and sometimes they just don't understand how to do it.
Fair.
And the only way that you get to a point where you can, like the way I just broke it down to you, right? Does this is this is this. Those are the three principles. You don't subscribe to that. I can't fuck with you, right? Now, it's not easy to do that. That's something that takes practice to do.
That's fair. You know what? That being said, part of me, I want to say thank you to everybody listening, everyone who took their time and patience to listen. I want to say thank you and apologies, because Dante, I completely forget the idea that people are at different stages of learning. People are at different stages of applying the principles. I've been listening to you.
Now, let me ask you this real quick. What is that a lack of? For you not to recognize that is what?
It's a lack of empathy.
Bang. We're going to leave it on that. Thank you, James, for calling in, bro. All right.
I appreciate you, bro.
All right, brother. Easy. What's interesting about that is that even in the situation where the call, and I don't think that James meant anything bad by it, but I'm just saying that this is a situation where you're saying these things and then you're lacking the empathy that it takes to see that people are at different places. FNF, oof, bro, good move on getting that Black Phillip cleansing. Thank you. I just want to read this. Black Phillip was all entertainment to me, but they had some gems. Xavier says, if you listen back to the old Black Phillip, I guess Dante had game. There was an episode where Patrice took a break and came back from the bathroom and I had a chick on my lap. I don't remember that, but I wouldn't deny that it's true. Probably. Hold on, we got a call here. There we go. Come on back.
Yeah.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Nia. I'm calling from North Carolina.
What's going on? What's your name again?
Nia.
Mia. Okay.
Nia. N-I-A.
N-I-A. Nia. What's going on, brother? How are you? That means Nia means purpose, right?
No, it means comforter. Comforter.
Okay.
My whole name is Nehemiah, but
okay. All right. Okay. All right, Nia. How can I help you, bro?
For sure. So I called in previously. You helped me out with it, and I'm trying to give an update, but also trying to move correctly because I moved incorrectly.
All right. All right. Tell me the background. Give me the background.
All right. Background. About a month ago, I called in. Somebody called back. The girl called back, and I was telling you, I don't want to make the same mistakes, and I wouldn't make the same mistakes that I made last time. And at the end of it, you said, if you don't, you got to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
You're gonna make the move to stay, or if you're gonna leave. But whatever you do, you gotta go full steam ahead with it, because if you don't, it's gonna mess up the whole situation.
Okay, so the girl called you back. What was the original situation? Give me the background. You met the girl. Were you laying the 5 bricks, or how'd you meet her?
Oh yeah, laying the 5 bricks. Then I asked her how'd I meet her. This was back last year.
Yeah.
Laying the 5 bricks. Then I asked her if she if she wanted to fit, see if we could fit.
You asked her if what?
To see if we can fit.
Okay, see if you can fit. Okay, go ahead.
She said, yeah, got a number, blah, blah, blah. We was hanging out for a few months. Then we were dating. We didn't make like something to say that we are official something, but she asked me out. Then afterwards, she left back to her ex-husband, and for her kids.
Ex-husband?
Yeah.
They got kids?
Yeah, they got kids. That's why she had went back.
How many kids?
One.
One. Okay, go ahead.
And she came back. That didn't work out. And you were telling me that I was in my.
Oh yes. Okay, I remember this. Right, because you were like, she went back. Okay, so she came back, and now where are you at now?
Okay, so when you said put yourself forward to put yourself in a to do it all the way.
Yeah.
Make a conscious move.
Right.
And next week we went out. Nice comedy show. But had a good time. We went back. We was kicking it. We got into it. You got
to move this story along. So you smashed. You went out. You smashed. Let's go. Keep going.
Yeah. I went out smashed. But the thing now, she told me that she was a master kid, so like in pain. So
she likes to she likes it rough.
She likes it rough.
Okay.
So this time I slapped her in the face. Not nothing hard or crazy.
All right, I get it. Go ahead. So what was the response?
The response was she didn't like it. So I pulled back. I didn't. She didn't know that I was going to do it because I never did it before.
Okay, what did she say? What did you had a conversation afterwards or no?
Yeah, we had a.
And what did she say? What did she say after?
She said that she didn't. What did she say? What did I say?
She said she didn't like it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. She said she didn't like it because she didn't know that she didn't feel like I didn't do this before.
Okay.
And she felt like I kind of made her untrust me because I did something that she was. Okay,
now was she upset about this or no?
She was. I talked to her, and I told her like, "Yo, my fault. It was, just right on contact, but I didn't go through like I was angry with you or anything like that."
Right.
So that next week, she kind of avoided me. 2 weeks later, we talked. She said, "I'm sorry for avoiding you. This was what was happening. I was uncomfortable with this situation." So we talked a little bit, and she said she needs a little bit of time.
Okay, stop. Now, let me say this. How old are you?
30.
30, right? How old is she?
30.
And she got a child. She got a baby daddy who she's running back and forth to. She tells you that she likes it rough. You give it to her rough, right?
Yeah.
She for some reason it takes her by surprise, right? You had this conversation with her. When you had this conversation with her, did you not tell me that this is what you wanted?
Yes, I said.
And what was her response when you said that? Just that I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't. She was like, "Oh, you shocked me," right?
She was like, I shocked her, and she felt like I was angry because of she left. I told her like, I wasn't angry, but she said, "Well, I feel like I got a heavy hand." I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so what did you say? Stop, because I want this. There's other people listening, so I want to move this along. So when she said you have a heady, so she thought you hit her because she went back to her boyfriend. A husband.
That's what she thought.
Okay, and
I
what did
told
you
her
say?
it
And what did
wasn't.
you say?
I told her, no, it wasn't. I'm not angry about that situation. We talked about, I didn't like the how you left, but me being emotional.
Stop. You don't need to. That's you're either gonna. This is again what I'm saying to you in the first place is you're either gonna move forward or you're not. She's accusing you of being angry and hitting her, roughing her up heavy-handed because she thought it was personal. Once you said it was personal, and she said, what did she say after you said it wasn't personal? What did she say?
She said, okay. Then she made a joke, and then she started talking about a different subject.
Okay, and then afterwards, but it wasn't okay, and
But it wasn't okay.
and then she listen. Here's what you like. If you tell me to do something and I do it, and then you reprimand me because I did it, do you understand that that's crazy?
I do, but
wait, no. Do you understand that that's crazy?
Yes.
Okay, did you tell her that that's crazy?
I didn't say you crazy now.
No, well, but here's my point. This is how I would have dealt with this. I was like, listen, you carved this out. We're trying to move forward. You said that there's something that you want. I gave you what you wanted, and now you're mad at me because I gave you what you want, and now you need time because I gave you what you want. Then she didn't really accept your apology in the first place. You do understand that, right?
I understand it. So
okay, and so if she's not going to accept your apology, then what do you? I don't understand what you're doing. I would cut this off.
Oh, fair enough. I've been out back, landing bricks and talking to people, but
here's what I'm point. You have to explain this this is what you have to be clear. You understand something. I keep, and this you can take my words when I post this. You can go back and listen to it so you'll know exactly what to say. But what you should say is, I tell the truth. I maintain my credibility, and I also maintain. But you practice ACE. You don't have to say ACE or nothing. I don't need you to give me a commercial. But the point is that understand something. If you ask me and you say something that you want, I'm going to try and make you happy, and I'm going to try within reason of me not being unhappy. And so this was an adjustment that you asked for. This is an adjustment that I gave you, and the fact that you're trying to punish me or you need time or effort is unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Okay. Then what you're doing is you're putting me in a position where I can't trust what comes out your mouth. And I'm not a mind reader, and I'm not gonna be. So until you get your shit together, I don't want to. I need time. This is crazy. I apologized. You made an accusation. The accusation was incorrect. I said, no, it's not that, and I apologize. If she doesn't trust you, I want you to understand that is more offensive than anything to me.
Fair enough.
If I tell somebody, I'm going to do something, or if I say we're going somewhere, or if I say come by, right? And I said yes, I'm offended if you keep asking me. Because why you keep asking me? You're asking me because you don't trust my word. And if you don't trust my word, then how can I possibly trust the fact that you're listening to me and that this relationship it's all fake then? So you have to make it clear. I am going to hold you accountable for what comes out your mouth, and I know that you're gonna. I have an understanding that I hold myself accountable for what comes out my mouth. Anything beyond that, I don't have time for this nonsense. Because this is nonsense. This is a nothing burger that she's trying to make something, and I don't know why. But unless, of course, the only way I can think of is that she doesn't trust you. So I can't imagine unless you gave her a reason not to trust your word. I don't know. I mean, she was the one that was in the relationship and ran back to the boyfriend. So
ran back and came and called.
At what point in time have you shown to be untrustworthy? Unless there's something that you're not telling me.
No, there's nothing I'm not telling you.
Well, then this is that you should be angry that she's questioning your integrity. You should literally be almost like, how dare you? How dare, I mean, you don't say how dare you, but I'm saying don't ever question my word. If I give you an apology, I give you an apology, because if I'm not sorry and I don't think it's necessary, then I won't apologize. I don't know if well, clearly she's accustomed to somebody who will tell her whatever she wants to hear at any time. And so that she has to discern through all the crap to decide what's true and what's not true. And you need to make it clear that you're not that person and you're not going to tolerate that. And if somebody is going to question your integrity, then they don't deserve to be in your life.
That makes sense. So
Okay.
Did I move incorrectly at any parts then?
No, I don't think you moved incorrectly. And even if you did, the problem, the point is, like, what's interesting is what you was a great intro is, let's go out and see if we fit. What does that mean? That means I don't know if we fit, I don't know if we don't, but let's give it a shot and see where we mesh, where the differences, where the compromises can be made, where things can move forward. If we come to a point where we realize it doesn't fit, then we both move and we out, right? But but what you're not going to do is assassinate my character simply because you're not accustomed to somebody talking to you that tells you the truth. Because your baby father ain't shit. Now I'm a problem. Yeah, I'm not going to let nobody do that to me.
I understand you. Okay.
And if that's the case, if she doesn't understand that and she doesn't respond with an apology and the fact that, okay, I'm not accustomed to that, I mean, it should be something along that lines, and then you should move forward. If she's saying I need time, you go beat it. I'm good. You don't need no time. You can have the calendar, the whole ass calendar, hit her in the face with a calendar, because this is what she's saying is, I'm not sure if you're good enough. After she already bounced and went back.
Yeah.
It's like she's already showing, and you need to make that clear. You're already showing me that you're not trustworthy and you're inconsistent. This is the first time you did this, ran back to your dude. The second time you tell me you want it rough, I smack you in the face. You asked for the smack in the face. I give you the smack in the face. Now I'm a problem because I smack you in the face. I tell you, you told me, well, I felt like you did it because of this. Well, no, you're wrong. And that's not why. But maybe, do you want me to smack you in the face or you don't? Do you want me to hit your lighter? Do you want me to just choke you? I mean, what she's doing is she's got you. This is a situation where a woman will do this and then you'll end up walking on eggs because she's never explicit about what she wants. And then she leaves you to read her mind. You've asked her, you complied. If there's an adjustment, there's always room for an adjustment. You don't want me to smack you that hard. You want me to smack your ass instead of you in the face. You want me, all of that is negotiable. But when she's going, you did this and you did this because you meant this, or because you don't get to do that. You don't get to get in my head and tell me what I thought or what my intention was. You can disagree with it. You can say it was you didn't like it, but you don't get to judge my character. And this chick sounds like a problem already. I mean, this is the second time you can't trust what her word is.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There's only I can only imagine that there will be another time where you can't trust her word. So this is somebody who's looking for trust, right? But's not willing to give it. The red flags is popping up. Right, and she's trying to blame him on you.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
All right, brother. Later. Yeah, you can't, there's one thing of being, compromising is another thing when somebody's being unreasonable. It's unreasonable for you to tell me you're a masochist, and then when I smack you in the mouth, you did it because, you can beat it. Let me see. Robert sent this question in. Let me get this. I'll get this. Gosh, Robert, I'll get it before we close. I promise. Let's see. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey Dante, this is Hassan calling from DC.
What's going on, son? How can I help you, bro?
Hey man, so I'm a longtime fan. Ever since I saw you on the Gavin McInnes show. Yeah, hell yeah. But you know, I've only been listening to your stuff for about a year now,
Okay.
and you know, I thought I had it all figured out with the Patrice stuff, and I didn't really know you were putting out material like that. So,
Well, let me explain something to you. Patrice didn't have it all figured out. So, you know, and he was trying to figure. I mean, the show was about us trying to figure it out. But you know, and to be honest, even after we stopped doing the show, Patrice had evolved his thinking way beyond where we were at that time. But good. What's your question?
I mean, I had the long relationship with this girl that I kind of fucked up because I thought I had it all figured out.
Okay.
And that didn't end well. But, you know, I don't want to get into all that. That's like a whole...
What's your question? What's your question?
Okay. So my question is, how do you maintain honesty and credibility, but still be with multiple women at the same time? Like have multiple relationships? Because like I tried to do that, and it's like most girls don't want that kind of situation.
That's listen. If all you have to do is be honest about it, right? What I mean by that is if that's where you're at, that's what you say. But you have to be. You know, a girl has to feel as though you're worthy of that, and understand something. I mean, we grow up in a society where that is not the norm, and so, but if you are acting in a way, big shout out to Nia. Nia, thank you, bro. Thanks for the $40 on the Cash App. I appreciate you, bro. And also, I just want to shout out real quick, Xavier. That's what I wanted to say. Xavier, thanks for the $5 and Wilver. Thanks for the $6. I appreciate y'all. I forgot to shout y'all out last show. My bad. So that's Xavier, Wilver, and Nia just put up $40. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. What I'm saying is you can have whatever you want. You just can't have whatever you want with everybody. Do you understand? And another thing is if you're trying to if like for lack of a better word, if you're trying to sell this, right, you got to really believe that you deserve it, right? Because if you don't believe that you deserve it, if you're kind of iffy about what you want to do, you know, or what you think you're worthy of, in a minute, man, they're gonna smell your fraudulence. They're gonna smell that you don't think you're worthy of it. You got to say it with the same conviction that you would if you ask if a girl wanted to get married and you said, "Will you marry me?" You gotta your conviction has to be the same when you would ask a chick to a marriage and say, "Yo, I want a throuple." If you don't have that confidence, if you don't think that you're worthy, if you're not willing to say that and walk away from it, if somebody says, "No, I'm not into that," right? Then you don't believe. Then what we have to assume is that you don't think that you're worthy of it. You understand?
I see.
So you're dating, things are like, and then she goes, well, where do you think this is going? I said, well, we're hanging out. I said, but I'm at a place where I'm not really trying to be monogamous, and I want to do what I want to do, and I enjoy your company. I like you a lot. But I'm just not at that place. I totally get if you want to end it because of that, but I'm just not. I'm just not on the same page, right? And nobody can. I understand that that's a difficult thing to say because you may hurt somebody's feelings because they'll feel as though, well, wow. Because right away, what women do is, oh, I'm not good enough. It's that has nothing to do with whether you're good enough. I'm just not in a place where I want to be responsible for somebody in that way. And I get to do that. Trust me, when a girl was like, okay, so here's the other question. When you say it and the girl goes, oh yeah, I'm not into that, right? how much does she hesitate or worry about telling you she's not into it? It's immediate, right? Soon as you present it, if she's not down, she has no problem telling you, I'm not doing that, right? What she's exhibiting is the fact that, look, this is what makes me happy. You're going to do what I want you to do to make you happy. Otherwise, there's nothing going on. I don't understand why men can't, well, I do understand, but I understand how men will not be open and honest about it. Why? Because what you're trying to do is you shoplifting the pussy. You're trying to hold on to the booty, but not speak the truth. When the reality is, when you tell the truth, right? If you presented yourself as somebody who brings value to their life, right? Even if they're not accustomed to being in a throuple or dealing with a guy who puts their happiness first or whatever, trust me, they will go out and they will date and they will meet other guys who are not honest, who are deceitful, who will lie to them. They will find out that they will lie to them. And some women even want to be in a situation where the guy lies to them. But it's very rarely that they don't, when you practice ACE, that if they liked you and you had some kind of relationship with them or some kind of connection, that they won't swing back later. But you got to have the conviction in your mind when you say, you got to say it 10 toes down. This is what I want to do. And you got to be honest with yourself that that's what you want to do.
Yes. And I have been trying to do that. And hopefully it works out like you say, and they do swing back.
Oh, well, everything I say works out. Everything I say works out. I've been down this road. I've been down that road. I've had people try to, be, a relationship terrorist. And there's always a thing when people want what they want. And then you just got to be clear. But that's not who I am. Now, if you want somebody who's like that, then you got to go find them.
Yep.
And walk away because guaranteed that there's somebody who will.
Yeah, just gotta keep laying the 5 bricks, I guess.
Yeah, and when you do that, you'll find it. And listen, you listen. There are girls who will say that. I don't know if you've ever had that, where a girl was like, "I don't want no marriage. I don't want no relationship.
Yeah,
I like it." Right, and they don't. And let me ask you something. When they feel that way, how much do they hesitate about saying that to you? They don't blink twice doing it. This is what I want. This is what I want. I'm just saying that when you have your self-esteem and you have value and you move yourself forward. But I also say never ask a girl for a relationship, because if you do, you look, like I said, women will tell you what they want. They will tell you what they don't want, and they won't hesitate about it. So that's. You just lay the bricks and you come across people who are. I mean, there's people that do it all the time, But you also got to be honest about it. Are you ready for that? Because I've counseled guys where they had look, Harry had that at one time. He had 5, my partner on the podcast, my co-host.
Yeah.
He had 5 and then he was running around exhausted. He was falling asleep on the road, going to Pennsylvania. I remember it like it was yesterday. Man, I'm tired. I said, well, you understand you don't have to maintain 5 girls. You can cut 1 off. You can cut 2 off.
So they all knew about each other?
Yeah.
Really?
If they didn't know each other directly, they knew that there was somebody else.
Okay. Wow.
But it took him a long time to get to the point where he even had the confidence to say that, So
I see. I understand.
And some of them came in, they rocked with it for a while, and they was like, "Oh, I like you. Let's be in it." And he was like, "Nah, I'm good." And then they left. And then a spot opened up. There was, table for 1. So don't worry about it. You just got to keep practicing, and you got to keep just keep practicing ACE. It is literally the key to anything you want to do. Okay?
Okay, man. Thank you. I look forward to doing a longer consultation.
Yeah, man. Let's get with it. Whatever it is, we can fix it, All right?
All right.
All right,
I appreciate
brother.
it, Dante. Thank you.
Later. Let me see if I can get Robert. This is why does it seem some people need to listen to shows like Man School 202 while other guys are able to maintain steady relationships from their 20s? Yeah, you're making them. You're mistaken. Every relationship, what it looks like on the outside is not what it is on the inside. You are mistaken. They all have problems, and being able to maintain stuff is something that you have to you have to get good at. You have to practice
press
it.
1 to send a voice.
What's up, brother? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's good, OG?
What the deal?
It's Johnny Rock. I'm calling from Philly.
What's going on, Johnny? What's going on? How can I help you, bro?
Listen, man, I want to ask you a question. I'm gonna cut through all the red tape. So why is it that like 70% of African American men have nothing to do with their kids?
That's not true.
That is true.
That is not true.
All right, then what are the stats?
Well, I'm not sure of the stat, but there was a study that just was done that black men have more to do with their children more than any other ethnic group. More times that they read to their kids, give them baths, bathe them at night, put them to bed than anybody else.
Nah, come on,
yeah,
man.
Well, Google it. Google it.
Stop it.
All right. Well, I don't know.
Ain't true, bro.
Yeah, it is. You're making a perception that you haven't even researched. I've researched it.
I think I'm not making a perception. I'm not even making an assumption. What I'm doing is I'm saying what the stats is.
That's not what the stats is.
70%.
If you're
listen, bro, I ain't proud of it, bro.
Go ahead. Good. Say what you're gonna say.
Listen, I ain't proud of it, bro, but it's over 70%. And listen, bro, you know damn well that it's damn near 70%. You know what I mean?
It's not true, brother.
Oh, well, so what are you trying to say? You trying to say that what you trying to say? No, I just want to make sure I got you straight. What you're trying to say, OG, is you're trying to say that it's more likely for an African American brother to be with their kids than any other ethnic group?
Absolutely. They just did a study. I think the study was 2 years ago, and people were touting it excessively. What you may be talking about is specifically whether or not black men are in the home or in a traditional relationship with their kids. But for what you're saying is that you're changing what the study is. If the study says maybe the father's not in the home, maybe he's not with the woman, maybe a lot of things. But what they're saying is overall, black men have more interaction with their children than any other race of people.
So the term you're using is interaction, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Interaction.
Yeah, because you would agree that you could be, listen, the lion's share of the consultations that I do is sometimes it's single parents, but a lot of times it's guys who grew up with their father and their father just wasn't emotionally involved in their lives.
Listen, man, this interaction. I'm talking about being in the kid's life, being there for the
that's
kid.
what I'm telling you.
Listen, man, OG, I'm talking about day in, day out shit.
Yeah, what I'm saying to you is, look, we all go to work, right? We all go to work. Let me see if I can find this study. I don't know if I'm not sure. See, I'm scared to do this because I don't want to fuck up the phones and stuff like that. But I promise you, I will, for the next live, I will figure out how to bring the I will, before we go live, I'll bring the study up and I'll read the study. What we're talking about is we're literally talking about that black men have spend more time reading to their kids, bathing them at night, putting them to bed, changing diapers than any other group of people.
Man, come on, man.
When you say "come on, man," what you're doing is what you have to understand something, that there is a. Do you believe that there's white supremacy and racism? Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so do you understand that the narrative for this idea of do you think that black men are more criminal than any other race of people?
I know that they do represent. I do know that they represent, let's say, 7-8% of population, and they represent like 40 to 50% of the prison population.
Okay, but is that because they do the crimes or because they're policed at a higher level?
You know what, OG, I think it's a mix. You know, both can be true, OG.
But I don't. But it's not. Both are not true. What we know already that black men are 9 times more likely to be stopped by police. Police officers are 7 times more likely to go hands-on when they do have interactions with police. Right.
Right.
But white dudes are 4 times more likely to have drugs on them. So the whole idea, the whole Ronald Reagan, the war on drugs, the just say no was a way specifically to clamp down on black people, to keep young black men in check, and to incarcerate them because there's a revenue. Black people are used
there's
as
definitely some truth. There's definitely some truth to that.
So what I'm saying to you is all of the parts of it. There's a lot of moving parts to this. Like you from Philly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all got a big roller skating culture, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you know that there's a documentary on Hulu? It's called The United Skates. It talks about the way in which black roller skaters were discriminated against in roller skating rinks by like segregated, where they wouldn't allow them to skate in the white owned skating rinks. Now they couldn't out and out say no blacks allowed, right? But when they did have what they call adult skate, when people, like you'll see Usher skating and a lot of black people who do, skate dancing and whatever and crews and stuff like that. What they would do is they would say, first of all, they would play the shit music, right? So then black people would bring earplugs, right? Then they would say you can't skate with earplugs. Also, if you know the skate culture, a lot of times they would use the small wheels because the small wheels maneuver more, so you could do more dance moves with the small wheels. They was like, well, you can't skate here with the small wheels. Then some of the dance skaters, a lot of dance skaters don't put a rubber stopper on it. Well, you can't skate without a rubber stopper. So what I'm saying, and this goes all the way back to 1933, and then when you had skating rinks in black neighborhoods, which was recreational, they would rezone the shopping malls where the skating rinks, so that they would close the shopping rinks. And so what I'm saying is, when you take this statistic, right, which I'm quite sure there is a statistic, but when you look at the statistic more specifically, right, what you're finding is that they're leaving parts out of it, because the whole point is that black men in prison are put in prison as a revenue stream.
I see what you're saying.
So do me this favor, Google that study that just put in black men and their involvement with their children. I guarantee you it'll pop right up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, bro, it's like 70% is not in the home.
Yeah,
but 7% of the population 7% of the population represents over 50% of the prison population, man.
Yeah, listen, don't get me wrong. I think that I mean, like you said, both things could be true. There's definitely a level of responsibility that I think that black men have to talk about. But I mean, I would also say, do you know what the statistics are for white men not being in the home?
No, sir, I do not.
That is the point. The point is that you should know that statistic, just like, there is.
What is it?
I don't know. I've never looked. I mean, I'll tell you what. Let me look it up right now.
It ain't no 70%.
It's probably not, but we're also talking about wages. Like, black folks are discriminated in wages, in education, in real estate, in civil engineering, in parks. We have a higher rate of sickness because they put powerhouses and sewage plants and factories where there's toxic. You still don't have clean water in Flint, Michigan. So do you know what I'm saying? So when we
you're right about that. You're right about that, OG.
So
You're
what
right
I'm
about
saying
that,
is,
OG.
how could all of those things be true and then this not be true? I mean, do you think, like, why do you think that they outlawed what you call it, stop and frisk?
I'm sorry, OG. Can you repeat that?
Why do you think they outlawed stop and frisk?
Why they outlaw stop and frisk? I assume because the pressure from the community. That's why.
But do you know why? They found out that 90% of the people that they were stopping were black.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I hear you on that.
Do you understand? So, like, when you police a community of people at a higher rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you create a bail, a financial bail system where you put somebody in jail for jaywalking, and then you interact with them, and then they, I didn't do nothing, and then they, if they twist one way, or you resist an arrest, and then we're in this situation. Now I put you in bail, and I gotta give you, so I make money off of off of putting you in bail, even when I haven't even proven that you did something wrong.
All right, so let me ask you a question. If 7% of the population is representing over 50% of the population in jail, would you not blame them for something?
No. Why would you blame them?
I mean,
let me ask you something. Let me ask you this.
OG,
do you think? Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you take a group of people and you depress them, and you don't give them jobs, and you give the schools that you have inferior schools and inferior resources, and we know that if you apply for a job and you have a black sounding name, right, you will not get the call back for the job. We know that the average income for a white dude with high school diploma exceeds the average income of a black dude with a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, you can't look at just one microcosm of it and then make so you got to look at all of the data.
Right.
In this country, there was a time when the Jews first came here and they were in Jewish ghettos, right? This is the time when you had I don't know if you ever heard of Meyer Lansky. Meyer Lansky was one of the biggest gangsters, but that was a time when Jews were in illegal crime. When the Italians came to this country, they made their money based on the fact that they did organized crime.
Well, you just said that in the past tense. You said when the Jews was.
It's not.
Come on now.
There's not a lot of mafia now. There's not. I mean,
I'm talking about the higher, financial crimes and
whatnot.
Oh
yeah. Oh, right. So, but then there's white collar crimes, and you have a situation where there's always a disparity. So when you look at this disparity, why wouldn't there be a disparity in the way that policing happens? Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, OG. Makes sense.
And I'll you know what I'll do? I'll bring this next time I go live. I'll have the stats for you, and then I'll put up the stats, and I'll show the articles. I'm not sure how to share my page and all of that stuff. And we've been on for an hour and a half, so I don't want to knock the phones down because I'm not as technical. But I mean, even
I appreciate the conversation, man.
I want to tell you something real quick. So I just sold my house, right?
Right.
My house went for out of Brooklyn, Bronx. I'm a full disclosure. My house went for $2.1 million, right?
Right.
We initially had the house appraised by this blonde chick who was supposed to be the top broker. She appraised my house for $850,000.
No.
Now, if I was pressed for money, and if I wasn't a guy who reads, and
sold.
I would have sold. I would have been like, oh, okay, and somebody to offer me 1.1, right?
Yeah.
I would have took it because I didn't know no better. We also know that when it comes to that, black folks don't get the proper, they don't get the, first of all, we don't get the mortgages, we don't get the loans, it's hard, we know about I know you're familiar with redlining, and so what I'm saying is we're talking about a systemic system. As much as I speak about this, about truth and honesty, and that, I mean, can you imagine if we were even honest about the things that black folks have to deal with? If you live in a rough neighborhood, you live in South Philly, right?
Yeah.
The schools are funded by the taxes, right?
Right.
And the higher the taxes, the better the neighborhood is. Therefore, the better the neighborhood, the better the school, the more money the schools get, right? The more money the schools get, the better education is, the better the more these kids go to college, so on and so forth. So it's literally cyclical in every level. So when you get like, I mean, when you look at, there's a privilege that exists, and understand something. I'm not getting on white people about what the system is. They don't really have anything to do, but understand there's no privilege if you know it's a privilege. The way it's a privilege is because that you're unaware of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but man, they've been holding us down for way too long, man.
Right, but I'm saying, as much as that, right? I'll give you an example. My older sister, worked in corporate America, right?
Right.
Always had to have her hair permed or weaved. It was revolutionary for her to wear her natural hair. Like, think about that. The fact that I need to fit into this mold that make corporate white America feel comfortable, even to the point that I got to put lye in my head to straighten the hair so that you feel comfortable.
So basically, what you're saying, you got to fit that mold. You got to
push against it, and you got to be. And this is what, I mean, even when we talk about, didn't we just have a thing on TikTok where all the black TikTok content creators were getting robbed by all the white. So what I'm saying, when you look at all the vastness of it, if you look behind me, right? Every book on this that you could probably think about is I've studied all of this, right? I'll give you an example. Do you read or no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, this book right here. I'm gonna show you this book right here. This is called Medical Apartheid, right?
Who writes that? Who wrote that?
Medical Apartheid. It's by Harriet A. Washington. This book literally talks about all of the experiments that were done on black people in order to advance the medical field. And I don't mean just the Tuskegee experiment. I'm talking about Marion Sims, the father of gynecological psychology in the 1800s, had slaves, and he was operating on black women's vaginas, perfecting his techniques. And he literally had a statue in Central Park that they just took down because he was literally operating on black women with no anesthesia. And it wasn't even that.
In New York?
Oh yeah. And they were doing full operations, giving women's hysterectomies and stuff like that with no anesthesia. When
this is only black sisters?
They were doing it with slaves. He owned them.
Dang.
But I don't mean even that. What we're talking about is every life. There's another book here called The Plutonium Files that literally talks about how the government took black soldiers and exposed them to radiation to see what radiation would do to people. So when we hear, anytime you hear a statement like, "Oh, how come black men don't be," like, okay, and I'm not saying it may not be true, and I think that there's still, you hear me talking on here all the time. When you hear somebody talking, last week we had a dude that had 2 kids, and he was like, "I don't care," and you know me, I don't pull punches if you're wrong.
No, you straight.
So I throw all balls and strikes, B. I call all the balls and strikes. But anytime I hear this kind of thing, right? There's so much more going on. I couldn't believe it. I just did. Do you have Hulu?
Yeah.
Watch the documentary is called United Skates. Right?
It's called United States.
It's United Skates. This is the thing on the skate. But if you can, man, just watch 13. There's on Netflix. There's a movie called 13. It's about the 13th Amendment, mass incarceration and all that. So yes, we have people in prison, and part of the problem with single fatherhood has a lot to do with prisons. You locking black folks up.
Yeah, because how's he supposed to be home with the kids when you locked up?
And if you police them at a higher rate, we literally have gotten, because of technology. They just had that chick who was she's a judge for 20 years, dropping N-bombs and all kinds of crazy shit. They found out they went in her Twitter. She got a recording. Now this chick has been a lawyer. She's been a judge for 20 years. She's been sending motherfuckers to prison for 20 years. How many of those sentences did she give, high-level sentences, lock black folks up, that wasn't affected by her personal racism?
Oh man, yeah, you're speaking truth, OG.
Yeah. All right, brother, but I appreciate you. I will look those up and then get that. I'll have that stuff for you next live, okay?
I appreciate the conversation.
All right, brother, I appreciate you too. I kind of wanted to let me cut the phones off real quick. I just want to go through this go through the comments. So Robert, you saying how is it easier for other people in their 20s? And look, you're looking at this from the outside. You're looking at people who where you think everything is gravy, and 9 times out of 10 it's not. If you listen to this podcast, you extensively will see that. And I just want to shout out to the white fans that are listening to me. Understand something. This is not a blame on you. We're talking about a systemic problem that you had nothing to do with, And I would hope that you would read up on this stuff, and so that you can be aware of what's going on, because they don't care about poor white dudes either. Understand that. But yeah. Robert is saying that, how do some guys, it just looks that way on the outside, Robert. It's nobody's living the dream, really, unless they listen to this podcast and they're in a situation where they understand how to manage their emotions in a relationship and how to keep it going and how to keep it popping. There was a time, you got to understand this is Me Too movement and women's rights and stuff like that. Women can leave relationships. There was a time when it was legal, constitutionally legal, to beat your woman because your woman was considered property. This is before the Suffrage Act, before women had the right to vote. So let me read this real quick. Like in the ideal where fellas and ladies would be able to make things work as a marriage relationship. Yes, it's relatively new as far as humankind goes, but almost adults people are in relationship. What I want to say to that is here's the thing, Rob. You have to be every guy wants to be captain of the ship, but that means you got to drive all the time. That means relentlessly you have to be aware of what you have to be the captain of the ship. That means you have to be aware of what her emotions are so that her emotions don't sabotage the relationship. You got to be aware of your emotions so that you don't make the wrong decisions. And you got to be aware of her emotions because she will screw up the marriage if this is a marriage that you're trying to. And that's not just women, but it's just human beings in general. We get emotional and then we start making weird decisions and everything goes in and you start not dealing with the principles. And my honest opinion is that ACE clears all that up. If you're honest, if you're credible, if you're empathetic, sure, a woman can say, look, you can do all those things and a woman can still say, yeah, you're not good enough, but you are. You understand? And so her perception of this is what it is. I can't tell you how many old chicks swing back from me from when I was 20 where they're like, yo, what's up? Oh man, I saw you online. I saw you doing your thing. I just wanted to call you and And oh my God, my daughter, she just graduated. And I'm like, yeah, but can I have some butt? Are we doing this or not? We smashing or not? because the whole thing is that their life has moved on. My life has moved on, and I've moved on. But they haven't, because in their mind they're going, this was the best dude I ever had. And the only way you get to do that is because practicing ace is so rare, it makes you a commodity. Let me see. Consider what they raised and taught to believe. Let me see what Tess PM. Okay, I think Tess was talking to Robert. He says, consider how they were raised and taught to believe. We live in a much more cutthroat world compared to us. Our forefathers were innocent. Absolutely not. Compared to us, we are much better. We are much more, like, you can't just wild out like you used to wild out. You can't just, clearly, we're watching what Diddy did. Diddy was a billionaire, a millionaire, multimillionaire, and he's getting his comeuppance now. But it also shows you how bad it was back in the days in the 90s when he was at the height of this. Like, what Diddy did, right? Even back to the Tupac and Biggie stuff, that stuff was going on in the 90s. Not now, then. You can't get away with that. Matt Lauer, that worked on NBC, I think ABC, I'm not sure. Matt Lauer had a button that when chicks came in his office, it would lock the door. He had a button, basically a grape button. You come in, Matt Lauer's office was like the Roach Motel. Roaches get in, but they can't get out. That could never, like, how would you even call the handyman, yo, I need you to put a rape button in my. So it's worse. It was much worse then. There was a time when you could grape your wife and not be convicted because your wife was considered property. Exactly. Folks already had 2 kids at my age, and they're still together, and it wasn't necessary. Yeah, we're also talking about people had 2 kids. People stayed together. They stayed together because they had to. There was something called no fault divorce, where you could just not like each other and then move on. I think you're looking at relationships the way it was before in this romanticized kind of understanding. And yes, Xavier, actually right, which is exactly what I'm saying. There are a lot of people that were in a lot of miserable marriages. You had grandparents who hated each other but just wouldn't die because they wanted to wait for the other one to die. Let's see what else we got here. I think, yeah, wow. Y'all were going at it. Oh, shit, Mr. Benjamin. Thank you for the super chat, $20 super chat. Just paying my dues. I catch you weekly. Called in before. I took your advice out, and it worked so well until I did not only have an issue, was you can't fix a crazy chick. Much love. Thanks you, Mr. Benjamin. $20 for Mr. Benjamin. And thank you. I like it when the money's coming in. Give me some money. Give me some money so I can keep doing this. Let me go, Daniel. The phones are not open because I'm getting ready to shut this down. Thank you for escalating the dialogue and trying to make dudes more credible. Always remember you saying that if you're credible, you're bulletproof. Absolutely. Donald Trump called for the execution of 14, 16-year-old boys for a crime that they did not commit, and still to this day doesn't have the humility to admit it. Absolutely. They're not yet. Best Black Phillip moment was the caller who called in to tell Leah she was an asshole and then hung up. It was wild. It was wild. I can't wait till more women call in. We had a couple of women call in last week, but I just, it's probably my fault because I named it Man School, so a lot of women don't feel like this is a place for them. But y'all listen all the time. I'm open for it. Oh, he's talking about the Carlotta episode. Dante was fighting with Carlotta. I haven't even listened to this stuff. Let me see. Oh, you keep running your mouth. Yeah, that's what I told Carlotta. Well, so if y'all don't know, y'all probably know because you'll know these. You keep running your mouth, but you ain't saying nothing. Keep laying the bricks. Let me just go through everybody real quick before we shut this down. Can we call from overseas? Yes, you can. You can call from overseas. I'm sorry I didn't get to that earlier. I get guys calling from Australia. We had a guy calling from Bahrain yesterday, Tuesday. Yes, so Mo the Human, you can call in. You're still putting, and thanks, man. From overseas where? I wish you would have said that. Yes, I'm answering questions from the chat. Thanks, Halsey. Couldn't agree more. 2 times 2, no trust. Sorry, dog. Okay, that was in reference to my man that called in for the negative over countries. Negative. Other countries don't consider cheating a big deal. America does. That's changing. That's changing. I just had a call from Bahrain about that. Dante Reggie Nero, thank you for the continuing to help. Black Phillip changed my life and helped me with the rough more time. Give me some money. I've been living in Europe for a few years, and when I visit U.S., women are mean and miserable. Yeah, that's because guys are soft and weak. That's why. We could change that. This is the movement right here. When I say Ace practicing what I mean, Mo, is authenticity, telling the truth, credibility, keeping your word, and empathy, having the understanding to know that other people go through things that you have not gone. Oh, man. Mo, thank you. Thanks for that, for all them questions. And you gave me a super chat. Practicing ACE. So that's what it is. ACE stands for authenticity, credibility, and empathy. I already gave it to you. I didn't even know you put the super chat in. So thank you. Justin from 740 says Dante said he was right about the study. It was 2023. Thank you, Justin. And y'all answering him in the chats. That's dope. I appreciate y'all. Hey, I got a couple of ACE means authenticity, credibility, and empathy. Black women not being treated the same as white women. Absolutely. Thanks, Xavier. Going through these as quickly as I can because we had a bunch of them. Yes, Xavier, absolutely. 2008, the banks were taking over advantage of black. That's from the production of giving away mortgages, and I mean, they actually were taken to court, and they had to give money for that. They got sued for that. Man Club, I agree on almost every point Dante has, but white privilege is gone. Wow, with the diversity and inclusion. My company is only allowed to hire 15% white males. The other 85% is females or colored men. Man Club, I would love to know what company that is. I doubt if are we saying that? Are you? What I would ask is this: is that what they're allowed to hire, or is the whole company 85% female or colored men? I'm not sure. Give me a holler, or at least come back next time. I'd love to chat about it or call in. The HR handbook. Understand that this facts, it comes from slavery. Damn, just seen the notification and it's almost over. What do you do about a girl that calls you love but doesn't say she loves you? It's it's 6.5, half dozen. When a girl loves you, she's going to tell you because she's going to have such an overwhelming feeling about it. If she doesn't say she loves you, then she don't love you. Trust me. And even if she does love you, if she doesn't think that the love is reciprocated in the way that she wants, understand women are not going to put themselves out there for the rejection. They haven't, if you just think about men from the inception of your attraction to women, you put yourself out there and you deal with the rejection, right? Women have never had to deal with that, to just out and out. And even their perception of where they feel as though they're vulnerable. That this is why when the live I did Tuesday, a guy was saying, "Yo, I called this girl. I told her let's go for coffee or something like that." And I'm like, "Dog, she's not gonna make the move. I mean, you gotta have a chick that's very ugly, or very very desperate, or somebody that's super confident that's gonna put themselves out there and allow you to reject them." Thanks, Mo. I'm also Mo the Human. Sure. Book the cons. Let me go through that real quick. I'm not going to let me put the banners up real quick. Okay, if y'all want bonus content that Harry and I do, and we also do put the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. But the Patreon is where we do the bonus content. We do technique, go in with a little more technique. It's at patreon.com/manschool202. Also, y'all know the Cash App. That's up. The Cash App is $ Dante Nero. And the one-on-one consultations, all you got to go to DanteNero.com. Click on consult and you can do that. You can get me anytime you want, man. I appreciate y'all. Man, this was a good one. Even the last question got me a little on talking about some other stuff, which is nice every once in a while. Yo, I love y'all, man. I really feel good about things. I feel like things are moving forward. I feel like y'all get it, that this is our movement. This is our movement that we're moving forward. And y'all are the dudes who are at the root of it that's pushing it. So as much as you can, push it, tell your friends. Let's get this world right, man. I really feel like this is a movement where we can get this world right. GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? The Sexual Revolution is being podcasted, man. I love y'all, man. Thank you, man. Heartfelt, I appreciate all the love. We are out. Peace.